Oh, this red light is not for me. I close my eyes and imagine.
Good afternoon, morning, or wherever you are in this world. If you're viewing this video is going to be a quick, and I mean quick, recap and some bullet points on POTUS' presentation to the joint session of Congress. Now, this is going to be as void of emotion as possible, because for the purposes of this information, emotion really isn't needed. So it may come off as cold or callous, but it's meant to just hit you with information so you understand what's going on, and hopefully enlighten you, maybe send you into a direction for what you heard on the speech and then here. Okay, so first thing, we ended up with Black History Month, or African American History Month, and there was some celebration of President Trump signing an executive order to help the historically black colleges and universities out. Now, I read the order, and it's just like any other order. It doesn't really do anything. Basically, it calls for special committees to see how we can or how his administration can help the colleges engage with the private sector, with the public sector, with getting people to jobs, but it doesn't have a plan. It's no increased numbers. It's basically a setup to gather information to get a plan. That's all the order was. And it actually dismisses another order that kind of did the same thing, but it was a little bit beefed up from a different administration. So that. As far as he was calling for an increase in defense spending. Now, this is a big deal. He didn't say military pay. He said defense spending, which means the ships, tanks, and trucks and those type of deals that are contracted out. Now, people say, no, also, he meant paying people. That's a different thing. A couple years ago, you may have seen President Obama. There was a video floating around on Facebook and a bunch of other websites. President Obama turned down paying the military, and they were talking about negative blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem is, when he did veto the bill that would have gave the military a pay raise, they hadn't paid for it. They were calling for it, they were going to do it, but it was going to cut funding from other programs to do it. He later gave the military the biggest pay raise they had experienced in years. Now, let's bring it forward. The $50+ billion that he's asking for increase in military spending, they don't know where that's coming from. Any senator or congressman that you will see talking on any program, they say, okay, he wants to do it, but we can't pay for it. And how do you pay for it? You cut entitlements, Medicaid, Social Security, so on and so forth. And you already know Obamacare, that's a fiasco that even former former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, it's like they're not going to be able to repeal it. It's too complex. It took them years to get it in. They're not going to just be able to repeal it without a whole lot of people going out of their minds because they lose their health insurance and things like that. So let's move on to the next thing. He mentioned a program called Voice, I believe it is, Victims of Immigrant Crime or something like that. Okay, this sounds really good when you're propagating fear, but it's a bureaucracy. That's what you're setting up. Now, with that, what it's meant to be in the very general planning stages is a place where reporting and tracking of crimes committed by immigrants can be gathered. Here's a secret. Now, you all may not know this. You have municipal police, county sheriffs, state police. In Texas, we have rangers. And then all over the U.S., you have marshals. Then you have the FBI, which is the Federal Bureau of Investigations. They don't prosecute anyone. That's the Justice Department. But all these levels of investigation, so what you're doing is you're adding not a part to any of those entities. You're trying to set up something else for whatever reason. And again, you have a problem because it's not paid for. So when if you're saying you want to do all this good stuff like the infrastructure thing, good luck. The Republicans had the House and Senate before Obama got out. They tried 2 years for an infrastructure bill. So we'll see. Again, I'm not in the Senate or in Congress, but for $1 trillion, they're going to have to get that money somewhere. And as of right now, they don't have it. Now, a big thing that was made, and I actually posted this on Facebook, a big deal that was made about POTUS and his speech was his demeanor. He seemed very calm. He stayed on the teleprompter. He wasn't flying off the handle, making accusations about the media, people attacking him, so on and so forth, making wild statements about the billions of people that may have come to his inauguration. There is a clip online right now, and I can't link it in because it's copyrighted, but there's a video online right now where he's literally, President or then candidate Donald Trump is saying it's easy to be presidential. The same exact mannerisms, the same pointing, the same microphone adjustment. They have it side by side. I think it was a Fox News coverage, and then the side by or the split screen of the speech that he gave to the joint session of Congress. Please do not be fooled by the media saying, oh, he's becoming presidential. It's an act. His words. This isn't, like I said, I'm trying to make this void of emotion as possible. His words were, it's easy to be presidential. All you have to do is you come out there, you know, just a tie, just a mic, nod, wave at a few people. It's side by side. Just search it. And I think the Daily Show may have actually used it, but I saw it somewhere else. But you can get that online. So, in review, the spending for the government spending, that's to get contractors paid. That's what it boils down to. We don't have money for that, according to big time people in Congress and Senate. There's just can't get the money for it. The $1 trillion that's needed for infrastructure, the roads and bridges. So, I mean, they could get it, but I also can hit the lottery tonight. The Voice program is setting up something that we already have. The Federal Bureau of Investigation already has that. The police department already keep track of that. The state police, the marshals, U.S. marshals, the people that actually they're the only people that have the authority to arrest the president, to actually arrest, put him in custody. U.S. marshals, they do that. So that's nonsense. It's propagation of fear, and it's just not needed. Oh, by the way, the wall thing, I want you to consider this. Now this is, yes, it's an emotional or contentious issue, but consider this. If they can't come up with money to sustain Social Security, they can't come up with money to get veterans seen, and I'm a personal witness with this, even with the motion removed, this is 4 years or 4 or 5 years to take to get where I am right now, and they still have many failings. If they can't come up with money over the past, let's say 8 years, 12 years if we go back before Obama, they can't come up with money for infrastructure to protect people from driving under bad bridges or on bad bridges. Excuse me. Where are they going to get this money from? This is why you need to be engaged, going to town halls, blowing up your congressman phone. I shouldn't say blowing up, that's a bad word. Calling your senator, calling your congressman to let them know this is just craziness. It does not make any sense. So, I hope that you've been caught up on the presidential speech. Big thing, please move away from that. It's a change of tone. That's garbage. Look it up, split screen, him acting as Daily Show or Trevor Noah. They absolutely had it on there. That's where I saw it second, but I saw it somewhere else first. The spending for military spending, that's not getting anybody paid. That's getting contractors paid. George W. Bush, actually it was Dick Cheney manipulating information from Intel to get George Bush to sign off on it. That's how Kellogg and a whole bunch of people got paid, got super rich. Like 100 thousandaires or millionaires became billionaires because of those type of trickery. Voice, again, is BS. Anyway, if you want my take on it, again, this is just my take. These are naked facts. You could go for the executive order. You could go to whitehouse.gov and physically search it. You can read it yourself. It's actually not that long of a read, and it's really not that complicated. It's just tell you, we're going to get a group together. This group is going to be in charge of this. This group right here that's in charge of this is going to report to this group. And then this group, they're going to let you know what's going on. We're going to make a plan, but it's not a plan yet. This is just what we need to do to make a plan to figure out how we're going to help. That's all that freaking HBC or HBCU thing was. It's amazing. Anyway, hopefully this has been informative. Watch it from the beginning. Feel free to share it. If it doesn't share outside of my friend circle, like I said, I'll be posting this video once I edit it down a bit to YouTube, and you can share from there. Thank you for watching. Please be advised. Please be active, because people are getting ran over, and it's actually money and lives that are affected. Oh, so it's supposed to be.